अरे भाजी टाकायची होती ना. हम्म.
तो भाजी में हो गया
एवढी द्यायची पाहतो.
म्हणजे अजून एक रोटी असेल ना झाले राहू दे ना ताटात मी भाजी उरली तर राहू दे शकते ना ताटात काही नाही तुम्ही खाते राहू दे ताटात म्हटलं अजून एक खायचं और कौन दूसरे जन देते थे बोंदे झुरे है बोंदे झुरे का गाड़ी
कोणती काळी? नाही हे नाही कुठली वाटते तुम्ही?
Is it audible now?
Yes, sir. Now it is audible, sir.
Is it now?
Yes, sir.
Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, teacher.
Yeah. So today's topic is types of database. We have centralized database, distributed database, non-SQL database, cloud database, relational database, network database, object-oriented database, hierarchical database. Now we'll see one by one the database. The first most is centralized database. So what does the centralized database do? It stores the data. It stores the data at a centralized database. It means this is my storage place where I'll going to put my entire database over here. So my database will be stored over here. It is very comfort for the user. So whoever the user who is going to use this, for him it is very comfort. Why it is comfort? Because he can able to access very easily this particular data. So he can able to access the data stored from the different location. Okay, so from different location also he can able to access this particular data from different applications. So he can, with different applications he can interact. So he can use different applications because all the database over here, and it has some authentication process. That means nobody can log in unless until he has been given permission. So we need an authentication. So we require an authentication. So these applications contain. So whatever the applications you are using through proper channel, that is login details or the password which has been not shared by anybody, he will be using. So he will be users will be having different applications. They will directly join this database with their authentication. That means they have been given some password or username so that they can able to get it. Now if I say what is that example, so I'll be saying central library. If I go within a central library as an example, all the database related to the library will be stored in this particular location. So the teachers or the students, they're going to use their applications to get it over here, and they're going to get it. So from their home or some different places also they can, because the server is over here. Okay, so all will be stored here. Okay, that is what the centralized database. Now, what is advantage over this? Because it is going to reduce the data management. So it will be reduce the risk. So risk is reduced. Manipulation of the data. Now that means if you are trying to do any manipulation, it will not going to disturb the main data. So it will not going to disturb the core data. Then there will be a data consistency. There will be a data consistency. And I can get the better quality. And it will be very less cost for me. Because why less cost? Because I am not going to depend on the vendors. The vendor will not going to supply anything for me because everything is over here. So it will be no dependent on the vendor. So that's why it will be very less cost. So this is about the centralized database. Now, if it is an advantages, what are the disadvantages for this? Disadvantages of centralized database. The size of the database is very large. Okay, database size is very large. Because of its large database, response time will be less. Because it will take time to give the response to you, because everything is stored in single database. So everything is stored here. So it is in order to return, because it's a very big database. So whenever I ask something, whenever I store something, it will take response, whether it has been stored or whether it is returned. It will be time consuming. If something has happened, that means if the server has been got failure, entire data will be lost. Entire data will be lost. If the server fails, that means if something happened to this particular server, then everything will be lost, because all we are keeping on this one single database. So this is what the disadvantage of the centralized database. Coming to the distributed database. Now the name itself, it's saying that it has to be distributed in n types. Okay, that means I will be trying to split my database into parts. So like this, I'll try to distribute my centralized database into parts. So this was your centralized. Unlike this has been not divided, then it is not called as a distributed. So previously what is happening, we are having only one server. Now we have seen some problem over here, because it's a large database is there, response time is there, and if it is got lost, everything will be lost. So seeing over there, we have been started our distributed database, saying that you try to split this centralized database server into parts. Okay, so that what happened, it will be connected with links, and it will be help the end user to access data easily. Because Now my start data is not over here. It has been split into different places. So whoever the user is trying to use that particular server, okay, he can able to access the data from various data. Okay, so he doesn't know from where it is coming, but his access of the data is very easy. Okay, now how it will be useful? Coming to this distributed database, it is of two types. It is of two types. One is homogeneous database. Another is heterogeneous database.
Okay, right.
Now coming to the homogeneous database, it executes the same operating system. That means it will be having the operating system the same. And also uses the same application. The application will be the same. OS also will be the same. And also carry the same hardware. So operating system will be same, application will be same, hardware will be same. Now that kind of database we are using in the distributed is a homogeneous database. So my system will be having the same configuration like this, so that I can store my entire data onto that. And coming to the heterogeneous, it will have different OS. So OS will be the different under different procedures. So procedures will be different, and it will not depend on the hardware. Hardware also will be the different. So same operating system, same application, same hardware is your homogeneous. Opposite to the homogeneous is heterogeneous. That means I will be having different operating system because I want feasibility. That means it should not be access only in the Android. It should not be feasible to only for some Mac OS, or it should be stick to only Solaris. It's not like that. It should be whichever the operating system I'm using, whichever the things I'm using, the hardware components, though the hardware and the OS should be are different, but my database, whichever I'm using, should be the same. So I can put my database over here, I can put the database over here, but it should be easily to access to the user. So what is the advantage over here? As my database has been got distributed, it has been expanded more and more. So it has been expanded. So if it is expanded, I need more computers. So I need more computers. So requirement of computers has been got increasing. Okay, and it has been connected into distributed. And what is happening if one server fails? What you have seen in the centralized, if one server fails, everything lost. But here we have an alternate server. If one server fails, we have an alternate server, so that it will not going to affect my data. So my data will not be going to lose. So there is not a chances of, so not data will not lose. Okay, so this is what the advantages. Coming to the relational database. So here database is based on relational model. Database is relational model. Yeah, we don't have any right now any been identified in the distributed. Only there will be the little bit cost will be expensive. That is the major drawback in the distributed, because the computers has been got increase and increase. Okay, so where you will be having little bit cost. Okay, comparing to central, there is no disadvantage. Only one disadvantage you find over there is cost will be, because the computers and all the things as we are distributing, so it will be cost effective. Coming to the relational, database is depend on the based on the relational model. So data is stored in a form of rows and tuples. So what is happening? My data has been got stored in a form of tuples. That is what we call as rows. And we have something called columns. We call this as an attributes. So tuples and attributes. And they will go into together, they will form a relationship. Together they form relationship. So the relation, how it will be established? The usage of SQL. So how we are going to use the SQL to store your data? How we are going to manipulate the data? Okay, and it's depend upon the EF card rule. So there are 12 card rules are available. So on this, based upon this, so it will be establishing the relation between the one table to another table, and how we are going to store. So if I store something, like suppose I will be trying to have something called, as I given the example of one is admission. So if this is an admission department, this is fees department, and this is examination department. So what is happening? If I add a new roll number over here, automatically the roll number will be added here and the roll number will be added over here. So again and again, he'll not go for the fees section to add the numbers or add the numbers in the examination batch. Whatever he add over here, automatically the data will be stored in this two other data. That means depend upon that. So this is how, if I modify any roll number or anything of the name of the person, okay. So this is the example of this particular relational database. Example of software for this, we are using something called Oracle or Microsoft SQL Server. So when I'm going over the relational database, we have to follow some properties. So this relational database has some properties. We call that as an ACID properties. We call this as a ACID properties. Now when I'm saying A, it is atomicity. When I'm saying C, it is consistency. When I say I, it is isolation. When I'm saying D, it is durability. So if I want to go within a relational database, I should follow with something called the properties, ACID properties. So what is this ACID properties? So when I'm saying atomicity, it will going to tell me whether it is success or fail. It is going to ensure my operation. My operation in the sense, like suppose I'll be saying I will want to pay the amount to one of my friend using Google Pay or Paytm or Phone Pay. So what happens due to some server problem or something? If it is success, automatically it will say my amount has been debited and it has been credited to so and so person, and it will going to give me the message successfully done. Suppose if it is a failure, what it will going to do? It will say that it will take time for 3 to 4 days. If it is not, then the amount, whatever, if it is unfortunately, if it detected from your, debited from your account, it will be returned back to your account. Just wait for 2 or 3 days. Okay. You tell the, you are going to inform them that you should be wait for 2 to 3 days. That means it will going to give me something what happened to my operation. Here the operation is what I am paying the amount to one of my friend. So either it is debited or something happened. So regarding that, it will going to give me the example. Okay. So like that, it follows all or nothing strategy. So transaction will be either committed or about. So here I'll be using the command. If it is success, I'll be saying commit. If it is failure, I'll be saying about. So commit is saying nothing but save. So my data has been got saved or manipulated or something has. That means successfully I am done my transaction. Failed because of something network problem or insufficient balance, or it can be anything. So this is what the atomicity. Coming to the consistency. When I'm saying this, it will going to perform any operation. So it will going to perform any operation over the data. Its value before and after operation should be preserved. So whenever I'm doing the operation, like as I said just now, I paid the amount. So I paid the amount to my friend. Okay, so I paid the amount to my friend. So previously my amount was 5,000. I paid the amount to my friend is 3,000. So previous amount is 5,000. Then it was debited to my friend to 3,000 and left on balance is 2,000. That means this is how it should be maintained. It should not like that 5,000 I have been paid, 3,000 has been debited, but it is showing till 5,000. That is wrong. Okay, so automatically whenever it is debited, it should be incorporated. That means manipulation. So what is you are manipulating? You are debiting. That means minusing the 3,000 and whatever the rest of the amount is there, automatically it should be updated into my system. So it should be updated in his system that the amount has been added. That means in his system also the amount, whatever the is previous balance is say 8,000. Now his amount we have been debited. So his amount also should be added to 11,000. That means simultaneously here it is debited, here it is credited, and it has been added to his previous balance. The previous balance is 8,000 and it's showing the current balance. So I'm able to get the previous and the previous. Now here also I'm getting the previous and the after. So this is how I'm going to maintain the consistency. If it is then my data is correct. Otherwise it will be some problem. So this is how you are going to maintain the consistency. So relational database will going to tell about the autonomicity, whether it's success or failure. If it is success, then it should be able to maintain the data properly. So what are the operations you are doing on this, whether it's you're debiting or you're crediting or you're checking the balance or whatever you are doing. So all those things these are all our queries you are putting, or you're trying to manipulate, you are updating, like something you are doing an operations on that particular thing. So these we call this all our operations. So when you're performing such kind of operations, the before value and the after value should be preserved. So it should be saved. Okay, this is about the consistency. Now coming to the isolation. So our property is isolation. So what is happening if my database is accessed by many people? So concurrent is, so n number of people are using the same data at the same time. So my database has been used by many users. So my database is being used by many users at the same time. So like this, many users are using my database at same time. So the data should be remain isolated. So if the same time I am using, it should be same time it should be able to affect the people. So it's like I am having multiple transactions. So this person is using same time, he is debiting the amount, he is crediting the amount, okay, he is doing something, he is doing something, okay, he is checking the balance, something like that. That means it's like a, we have the bank people and we are all the customers. Some people at the same time will withdraw the amount, some people will deposit the amount, some people will be check the balance, like this at a times they're going to do. So it should not be affect my database that okay, it should, okay, for this I am responding, I'm not going to respond to this person, or I will not going to respond to this person, I will respond. It's not like that. To all the people at the same time, if the people are asking, it should be respond to them, and whatever the correct data is there should be display to them the particular relevant person. So my amount is 5,000, his amount is 2,000, its amount is 8,000, like this. So exactly the relevant data should be displayed to him at the same time. Now this is what we call as an isolate. That means it should not be reflected or it should not be do any changes. Okay, so one transaction effect should not visible to other transaction in the database. Like suppose if this person is depositing the amount, so when it is depositing the amount, this person should not able to see what he is depositing. Okay, the amount should not be reflected to him, because his database and this, like this, what is happening, this is my table. Okay, so this is my record, so this is one person, one record, this is second record, then this is third record. So what is happening, the record whichever you are manipulating, okay, this record has been manipulated by person. How it is manipulated, either he has been adding the amount or withdrawing the amount. So it should affect, so whatever it is affected, it is only to that particular user only, it should not be others. So that means this data should not be displayed to some other person, or it should not be have any effect. Okay, if this person has added 5,000, it should not be visible this amount has been detected or withdrawal or something. It should be like, though it is in one table, though it is in a one table, okay, it should not be trying to reflect to the other person, it should not going to defect the other person. So this is how we're going to maintain the isolation. So isolation should be remain constant. Okay, this is what the isolation means. Now coming to the durability, once it has been complete, like once what you are doing, I am sending an amount. So I'm sending an amount to my friend. So it will go and tell me, yes, it has been saved or it has been not. That means confirm, success or failure. This is what the atomicity. Second one, what I'm saying, consistency. Consistency, what? Before value and after value should be preserved. Third operation, what I'm saying, whatever the data is been many people are using, it should not be visible. So it should not be visible to all. Okay, it should be reflected only to that particular person. Then whatever the doing, whatever the operations he is doing, once everything has been finished, it should be commit. That is, your data should be saved. So here my data should be saved, and once it is saved, it should be permanent. It should not be temporary. So what is happening here, it is only temporarily. Okay, message has been sent or message has been got failure, because as if it is failure, it should be somewhere after 3 or 4 days, after once the data connection has been got established properly, then the amount has to be deposited on the other end, otherwise it should be back to this person. So it should be, it's a temporary, before and after also temporary, visible to all. Now that means once this all operation has been got finished completely, then it been ensured, okay, amount has been got debited or it has been credited or something like that. Once it has been got finished, then the amount should be completely saved, so that transactions if I do, then it should be start from again from the saved one, not from the here. So this is what the durability. So it should not take that much of time to complete your task. So once your task has been got completed, then your operations should be, whatever the operations you have done, that all operations should be committed. Once the data has been got committed, that is saved, then it should be saved the data permanently. So it should be remain permanently in the database. Okay, so this is about the relational database. Then coming to the NoSQL database, We call this as a non-SQL database. We call this as a non-SQL or not only SQL. So big, check it over here. So no SQL means non-SQL or not only SQL. Now, how this data will be there? It is a set of storing wide range of data sets. So it is going to store wide range of data set. Now, what is this data set say? I will be saying something like this. So 101, Rajesh, Hyderabad, Nizam College, Commerce, something like this. So this is belongs to one set. So one data set. Then I'll be having 102, Mahesh, then Algonda, some Nizam College, then Commerce. Like this, I will be having a wide range of database. So I'll be going to store my database in this fashion. So a data set. So it is not a relation database as it's stored in a form of table. It is not like a table. So we have seen in the database, it is being stored in a form of table. As I told you, it is being said as rows and tuples. Okay. So if you see the database, as I told you in the RDBMS, what is happening? It is showing in the form of rows and columns, that is tuples and attributes, and it is being stored in a form of table. So here, this is not like that. It will going to store the data in a form of data sets. Okay, it can be like this. Okay, now, so what is happening over here? I can store my database in different fashion. So as I shown you one example, if it is a relational, I will be storing it in a form of table. But when I'm saying non-SQL, it can be stored in any fashion. Okay, so I have given an example like this. So it can be stored like this, or I'll be saying something like this: 101, Dev, Hyderabad, 3432, something like this. So I'll be storing. So I will be storing in this fashion. Okay, I'll store, or I'll be storing something like this: 103, Rajesh, like this. So in whichever the format, whichever the format, I can store my database. Okay, but not in the form of table. Okay, so depending upon the technology, this data will be used. Okay, like you will be having something like, I can store my database in a form of graph. So as I given one example like this, I can store this my data in a form of graph. Nowadays you can see share market you may find, like you will be finding when you graph that okay, today's the gold rate has been gone up, yesterday it was down, day before yesterday it was down, again it was been high. Like this I'll be showing in a form of graph. Or you will be saying something called sensex. So if you see the sensex, okay, you will find your data. It will be saying that okay, today NSE has been got to amount so and so amount, it has been gone in so and so amount, decrease. Okay, it will be having something like this. 1-2 arrows will be there. If you remember, if you see the census board, you will be having 2 arrows. So if it means one arrow means up, means that means this has been got up, that means this share has been got increased, this share has been got down. So like this I can represent in a form of graph, or in the form of key value storage. Okay, or I can go with any kind of storage. So if you see about the non-SQL, so non-SQLs are 4 types. So how I can store my database in a form of graph? I can store the data in a form of graph. I can store my data in a form of key. I can store my data in a form of wide column. I can store my data in a form of document. Okay, I can store the data in a form of document. So like this we have different kinds of media where I can store my non-SQL database. So as I told you just now that it is not going to store in a form of table, it can be have like this. So the example I have given the graph, like since this is about Sensex, this is about your share market, okay, and this is about something. So how I'll be storing like this, I'll be having some example one by one. So if I say Yeah, sorry for distance. So if I want to go with a graph, I can store my data in a form of graph. Like if you see example of your social networking website, if you see, it will go and tell me, like, you may have the reviews. Okay, you may find the something like to what is the today's movies, and if it is what is the review of that, it will going to give me like 3.5, 4.5 reviews, something like. So you will be going to get in a form of stars or ratings will be there. So all together we will be saying with the help of the graph. So this is what the example of the graph. Most probably it will be used in the social networking. Okay, how many people are visiting, okay, how many people has been seen, like this I'll be going to get up to date data. So coming to the key value storage. So here it will be store your database in a simple way. A single item or a key will hold the value of together. So it will going to hold single key. It will going to hold a single key. So with that particular key, I'll get the entire data. So it will going to store one attribute. Say suppose, as I told you in the example, like my roll number. So if I type roll number, the entire data of that particular student will be going to get. Like say, if I type roll number, I'll going to get his contact number, his address, okay, how many subjects he has been cleared, how many subjects he has been backlog, how much fees he has paid, okay, whether the person has written the internal exams or not. Like this, I'll be going to get the entire details of that particular person. So this is how the key will be stored. Like with the help of that particular single key, I can extract the entire data. Coming to the wide column database, it is going to represent the relation database. So it will be like almost all related to relational database, where the data will be going to store in a form of large columns instead of storing in a rows. So it will, as I told, relational, what is happening in the relational, it will store the database in a form of rows and in a form of columns. Now this is about the relational. Okay, this is about the relational. But wide column, it is say, the name itself says the data, every data will be stored in a form of columns only. It will not store in a form of rows. So all data will be represented in a form of columns. Okay, only data will be stored in the columns. Okay, so this is what the about the wide column database. Then coming to the document database. Nowadays, this is very famous, and it has been nowadays it has been used in JSON. The famous, now we are using in all the websites and all the things, like wherever you need, we are using this JSON document, where the data will be in a form of something like, it will be in a form of notepad, or it can be in any format, where the data will be like, I'll be having some, I'll show one example when I get the proper document of this. Right now I don't have this document. So when I have the document database, in that it will be simple notepad. Say I have some notepad, in that I'll be having some details. Say something called uh, uh, data set, like this, in a form of how I can say, I'll find it. I'll show if I get it. Yeah, I'll be having the JSON document like this. So it can be form of notepad. So it will be in form of notepad or any document or Word document, or it can be any document where, or it can be a PDF. The data will be like this. Say something called star colon, then I'll be having a box. Then I'll be saying something called megastar, and he'll be having something like 150. Then mega family, something like this. Okay, I'm giving an example. Then I'll be having something called what is that? Another one, superstar. Okay. Then I have something called comma 200. Then super family, something like this. So I have given one example. So if you remember the example, yeah, this is the example of your data set. So how it will be? We call those as a JSON data set. So we call it as a JSON. So I'm saying something like I want to know the about film stars. Okay. So we have something called Megastar. Megastar is there. He has been taken the movies like 150 movies. Is an actor and say something like he called as a mega family. Now superstar. So if you want any name, if you can give. So Rajnikant, and he has been acted in 200 movies and he called as super family. So like this I'll be putting. So if I pass this document to my website or to any graph or key or any other database, automatically it is going to extend, and according to that it is going to show me the entire details. Okay. So this is what the your about non-SQL database. Okay, so we'll continue the next class related to other database. So we have been covered in the today's classes about the centralized database. We have covered about the distributed database, and we have covered about the non-SQL database. Okay, so tomorrow we'll see the other types of database. Okay, any doubts you can just clarify here.